Mary and Sarah both live and work in Accra. They were both trained by the same madame in the area of beauty and hair. When I first met them both, they were hardworking, skilled and gainfully employed. But fast forward to 2020, their madame had to shut up shop due to COVID-19. Mary and Sarah both got married and had children around the same time that year. Mary is now utilizing her skills, providing COVID-friendly home visits, earning an average of $20 per session, while Sarah, whose pastor husband convinced her that it is ungodly for her to tend to other people's hair and nails, is now a hawker on the streets of Accra in the blazing sun with her baby in tow. Needless to say, she barely brings home $2 per day. This story is typical and also demonstrates the societal pressures and norms that women face in the global south and in Africa especially every single day. It also demonstrates the power of the resilient entrepreneurial spirit. We need development to fund and produce more Mary stories. I'm of the view that international development is a multi-billion-dollar industry that needs a personality transplant. Philanthropist Mackenzie Scott gave away $6 billion last year. She researched the causes and organizations, she researched the personalities, she found them. She did the research and found out about those innovating and serving the underserved and the voiceless, the causes and organizations that she cared about and shared values with. Contrast with traditional philanthropy and development, which is based on patriarchy. Women are different, we know, our style is different. We are nurturers, we are problem solvers, we are multitaskers, naturally. Women still remain at the very bottom of the pile when it comes to access to resources. Development must empower skills and control. There's a lot of money flying around in the name of Africa and a lot of money flying around in the name of other countries and regions in the global south, but we should seek more of those resources directly to be deployed in the hands of those who know what they're doing. Let's invest more in prototyping, research and development, patenting, IP protection of indigenous knowledge by indigenous people for themselves, as stewards for their own people, for their environment, and to protect their heritage while on the path to development, their own development on their own terms. Let's fund the troublemakers. I can't tell you the sense of panic I feel when I allow myself to think about the immensity of what we need to get done. What drives me every day is how exciting it is to be doing the work that we do. I meet and work with the most amazing people every single day, and this is the new phase of development. We may be far away from the cash, but we're all right here and very much in the center of the action. Now, don't get me wrong, foundations and development partners are starting to think and act more like social investors, though more needs to be done to foster more trust, respect, and less onerous monitoring and evaluation requirements that often take away precious time for those delivering on projects for those that they are serving. Shell Foundation, for example, have recently agreed to collaborate to support companies that connect people living at the last mile to produce electricity off-grid, which will dramatically improve lives. They've committed to $45 million in grants over the next few years. To put that in context, the gender funding gap is $42 billion. Only 5% of VC funding, for example, goes to women globally. Let's not forget how the likes of Tesla and Microsoft benefited from public funding. The US government was in effect an angel investor to these now multi-billion-dollar behemoths of business and innovation. Development agencies and funders must reimagine and readapt their approach to achieving the objectives of their raison d'etre. We have 17 development goals and we are far from achieving those. All the indicators, especially for gender equality, show that we are a very long way off, and so we need some drastic action and a sense of urgency from the development community to make sure that we reach these goals. For 5 years now, we've become used to seeing the rainbow colors of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, but we don't stand a chance if we don't inject a sense of speed, urgency, and bravery into our international development and finance. I remember a few years ago taking my first trip to the northern parts of Ghana. Obviously, underdeveloped and the north-south divide is real. Taking that trip, I was struck by a particular scene as I drove through the region. I was struck by an image of various placards, the Dutch, the British, the French, all these development agencies signposted and having their signs staking their territory in the region, with various projects here and there and claiming to be developing the area. What I saw was a community of women animals and children sharing what was in effect a dugout in the ground, a hole in the ground which was filled with water. Children were drinking, women were washing, and animals were inside the water mixed together. And then there was this massive signpost, this massive placard, proudly sitting on the side of the scene, stating that this was a water project. And it looked very much like this. Is this really the best we can do with development? I think we need to get beyond the boreholes. We need to get much more intentional about development and make sure that we have much more ambitious bars of expectations that we need to exceed and meet. We need to get better at development. Surely we can do better than boreholes. We're talking systems. We need less of the patriarchal, inflexible, reporting obsessed hoop jumping and the box ticking and the obsession with the numbers of people that we train and support and deploy interventions to. We are used to seeing a more quantity-focused approach to development. Let's switch to a more qualitative approach to development. Let's trust those who are on the ground, who are competent and have proved themselves, to try new things. We need opportunities to be better signposted to those in the Global South that need them. We need more resources to go directly to female, Black, Global South funders and consultants and advisors and experts that look just like me. Let's fund those who are working on sustainable ways to achieve social justice and inequality. We need to go beyond building boreholes. Development needs are beyond urgent, and we need to reimagine the way we do development. Africa in particular did very well to manage the initial phases of the pandemic, and it just proved that we have so much to offer. We need to have a more mutual respect for each other. We need to have a more connected development. That is my proposal. Let's have a more connected development. This is Africa. The entrepreneurs, the innovators, the grittiest, most resilient people you will ever meet. Invest in them, know them, meet them at their point of need. We don't need handouts, we need a hand up.